We are here following the safety regulations by Finnish government. Please, everyone watching us through Instagram and Facebook, stay safe. We're glad to have you here with us. Today, we're going to talk about going abroad at a young age. What are the possibilities? The world is your oyster. There is so much to see, to do, to experience. But without any further talking, let's invite our first speaker opening the event from the Tampereen Iyseon Lukio High School, Seppo Linnaranta. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks, and welcome to Tampereen Iyseon Lukio. We call it Rellu, it's the nickname. And I think in the program it was that Jaana Nieminen, the principal, will open this event. Well, I'm not Jaana, obviously. She was kept with some other urgent business, so she couldn't be here. So you are stuck with me. Just a few words. We feel really privileged and fitting to host an event like this, about encouraging young people to get out of their comfort zones. And I think that's one of the key lessons that one learns when going out of the door, stepping out of the comfort zone. We have students in 3 programs. We have the National Upper Secondary Program, ylioppilastutkinto. Then we have the European Studies Program, Eurooppa-linja, and then the All-English IB Diploma Program. So we want to be very much internationally minded, and that's why we also are really happy to have this event held here. And we have some of our students in the audience. I think when our students have chosen to study with us, they've made a step towards stepping out into the world. And I think whoever of you is following this event at home or wherever, that's the same for you. You've taken a step towards the world and planning the next ones. A really long time ago, I was also in a similar situation. I had fearlessly decided to go and start studies in a foreign country in a university. And well, right out of my upper secondary school in the hinterlands of Finland. And in the car that was taking me from the Zaventem airport in Brussels to my university dormitory to be, I only remember just one thing. I was really terrified. And the driver told me that if you look down from space to the earth, there are only 2 things that you notice. One is the Great Wall of China, and the other one is the lights of Belgium. It's a densely populated country with a lot of street lights around. I don't know if the story is true. I haven't traveled to space this far, but it makes a great story anyway. And for me, it was a comforting one, because the lesson was that it's all about the viewpoints. Things that look huge and scary from far can actually become very tiny and not that scary when you change the viewpoint. And stepping out of your door, whether you are going to knock on your neighbor's door or you are going to travel to the ends of the world, will give you another viewpoint on everything, basically. Will help you understand others and finally yourself as well. And actually, I believe that that many of our political and personal conflicts could be more easily solved if we all took the time to change our viewpoints. Therefore, meeting new people, going for exchange, even traveling, studying abroad, it's not a small thing. It's a step towards the world and towards understanding each other. With these words, I warmly welcome all of you here to have this event. Thanks.
Thank you, Seppo, for those words. We're glad to be here, and thank you for kindly letting us be here at your high school. Next up, before I'm introducing the next speaker, I want to remind our audience in Instagram and Facebook that we're answering your questions in the comments. Please, if there's anything you want to ask us, go ahead. And also, by the end of this webinar, we're going to give away 1 semester abroad worth 2,000 euros. Go and register, and you have still time to be the winner. But that being said, let's introduce our next speaker, Jouni Ovaska, member of the Finnish Parliament and candidate for the mayor of City of Tampere. Welcome on stage.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here. This is a great privilege. I know that many of you think your opportunities after graduating from high school. The reason why we all are here is the opportunities, your opportunities, and of course, your education, the most important thing. When I was young, well, I hope I'm still young, but when I was young and I studied here at Tampere University, I did my teacher training in Tanzania. I wanted to see and explore the world. And of course, encouraged me to speak different languages. I think sometimes there was a bigger step to speak English, German, Swedish with your classmates than abroad. I had a great journey, but too short, unfortunately. But that trip taught me appreciate Finland and the Finnish society even more. But now, my friend, I'm the member of the parliament. I couldn't have imagined before how great part of my work is the internationality. I'm sitting in the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Grand Committee, which is the EU Committee. Internationality is one of the keys in my work life. I think we all have something in common, and it is the interest in different countries, cultures, and of course, curiosity. International experiences have truly helped me to understand the whole world better since I understand different cultures. And this is where I encourage you too. Today, I hope we can challenge you. Maybe you don't have any idea about your future, but you have a plenty of opportunities. Be brave and take a chance. It might change your life.
Thank you, Jouni, for the inspiring words. Now, next on the stage, we're going to have Harri Suominen, who is the founder of Asia Exchange, EduNation, and really inspiring education industry work here. Let's have Harri on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ida. Ida is one of the interns of Asia Exchange, and I need to say I'm very happy about having this kind of young people working in the company. Welcome everybody to the event here on stage, but as well online there. I'm sure there's many of you who are interested in internationalization. I would say that 1/3 of my life so far I've been working for helping people to go abroad, young people to go abroad and get life-changing experiences. You might see now on the screen there is a few pictures. The other one is from Costa Rica and the other one is from Bali. So this is like one part of going abroad to study abroad, but it's not only fun in the sun. It is same time educating, but it's same time the best experiences of your life so far. I did 2 semesters abroad when I was a student at university, and those were the most meaningful experiences. I'm come from Finland, which is the top educator country in the world, but still I would say when going abroad, that taught me the most. I have lost my heart to Asia, and I'm sure that more people who would go abroad, they could feel the same. We could change the next slide. Okay, so going abroad can open you lots of doors professionally, but also on personal level. And I think instead of only talking about theory, real life stories are usually the most interesting ones. I tend to believe that my own story is quite important for me, and I wouldn't be here without that. Like when I met my wife nowadays, that happened in Thailand. She's from the same city in Finland that I'm from Tampere. We went to the same university, but we never met in Tampere. But we met in Thailand, and she's here in the room today with me as well. And together with Suzanne, we have 2 adorable kids. We are here in this picture in Bali. They started to travel when they were half a year old. They have been traveling to Asia now more than 10 times. And that's something which is truly opening your eyes and giving you this understanding of what globalization really means and what kind of opportunities it can give you for your further life. Next slide, please. So why go abroad? When I was a high school student, I didn't think too much about, I was really narrow-minded with my mindset about what the life is, what is happening in the world. But already at that time, I heard somebody talking about going abroad and why you should do that. And it was kind of in the back of my head that once I go to a university, maybe I go to study abroad. People are nowadays doing that even more often. And after finishing from high school, quite many students spend a gap year. They might go backpacking somewhere half the time of their life. But I would say that instead of just going backpacking, why not going studying same time? You might even get a little bit better funding and sponsorship from your parents if you say that, hey, I'm going for studying for a couple of months instead that I just go have fun to Southeast Asia or wherever. But it is like already mentioned, it's getting out of your comfort zone, but same time it is experiencing the best moments in your life, being the happiest in your life so far. Most of the students who have gone abroad, they say that that was the most meaningful time in their life. Maybe once they meet their significant other or get first child, that overcomes that experience. You will get to know new friends, but also yourself, because when you leave your home, that's when you really start to know yourself, how you behave in a new environment as well. And it is so important to learn new languages, learn about new cultures. That's how we can understand the world better and can appreciate each other as well better. That's how we are avoiding things like we have been seeing, for example, in America happening very recently. If you know each other, if you are able to think from the other people's perspective, then we are avoiding lots of big crises in the world. Also, when you are applying for a job after your studies, that's something which the jobs or the employers usually look. Have you studied abroad? Tell me a little bit of this. This is how you stand out. Oh, you studied in Shanghai, for example. Wow, tell me about this. We might have some operations there. But the number 5, at least going abroad is the greatest experience of your life so far. Travel and see the world. Next slide, please. So, of course, I'm an edupreneur, so it means that an educational entrepreneur. I can speak mostly about the destinations and programs that my companies are representing, but the whole world is open. There's lots of opportunities for you. But I would say the further you go, the more different kind of place you go, the more you will learn. It is important just to leave your home country, but the further you go, the more you will learn. But it's also good to think that you always have a chance to come back. But you come back by growing many inches, many centimeters, spiritually at least, on height, and getting more weight spiritually at least because of all these experiences. You can do a gap year, you can do a full degree even, or you can do a couple of weeks summer school. All these options are there. So I just say that, think about that. Next slide, please. That's my part, and Ida, maybe you can take the stage again. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Harry, for these words. And now I want to remind you once again to register for the giveaway of the semester abroad worth 2,000 euros, and also send your questions. We are here to answer them. And Before introducing our next speaker, who is also going to host our panel discussion today, that I'm sure you're all waiting for. So, Peter Vesterbacka, man behind many ambitious projects, welcome on stage.
Yes, thank you, Ida. And can only agree with previous speakers, so it's really fantastic to be here. And I don't think that we can overemphasize the importance of having international experience and going places, because there is really no substitute for experiences these things yourself. And I mean, also when I was younger, so I learned there from Jouni to not say when I was young, because I think I'm still young. So when I was younger than today, I also spent 1 year in the US as an exchange student, and then been working summer jobs abroad, and then of course also in my working life doing that. And I think that if nothing else, what you will learn that people are people everywhere. And I think that this is something that is very important, that you very quickly realize that, they are just like you. I mean, there might be some different habits, but I mean, they need the same kind of breakfast, and they, they have the same kind of like dreams and things that they want to do. So I think this is something that you can learn, that there are many different ways of doing things. And it's not always that the way that you have always been doing things is the right way or the wrong way. I mean, I think that you realize that there are many ways of getting stuff done. And this, I think, is maybe the most important thing, that you realize that, people are people. And I think that it's very dangerous when we get into a situation where you think that it's those guys and us, and that there is like somehow a big difference. And I mean, we all seen what that can lead to, and not going into the US, last few years, and what we've seen also, not very far from us. So I think that you get a lot of problems when you start thinking that there is like somehow a big difference. And one story that I always like to share, because we know that there are a lot of these kind of like conflicts all over the world. And I was actually in Beijing, and I have some good friends there, and one of my friends invited me to his house, and for a barbecue with his wife and kids and some friends that he invited over. And then we were there, hanging out and waiting for like the sausages and the burgers and all of that to kind of like get barbecued. And then for some reason we started talking about Japan, and and then he said that, hey Peter, that I have many friends in Japan. And then he said that, and do you know what, that they are actually really nice. And of course, then if you know like a bit of the history about between China and Japan, there are some like not so beautiful incidents, some massacres and things like that. And so then you kind of like get this that like if you're in China, that those Japanese people that like bad and evil and all of that. But then like as my friend was saying that, hey, I have many Japanese friends, and hey, they're really nice. And then I said that actually that is my experience as well, that I have many Japanese friends. They are really nice people. I have many friends, many countries, and guess what? All of them are really nice. So, so then I think this is something that we should keep in mind, and why I think it's so important that, you take the opportunity while you're young. You could go, to Vietnam, or you could go to Angola, or you could go to China or the US, or, wherever, or to Sweden. That's also in Finland. We have this rivalry, but guess what? Hey, I have many Swedish friends and they're really nice. So I think that this is something that is really important. And maybe just to wrap up, one, I think really beautiful example, and that I was super happy with. So, I mean, some years ago in 2008, we started Slush here in Finland. That is the biggest and best startup event on the planet. And it's all about engaging the young people. Actually, the young people are making that fantastic event happen. So it's all run by volunteers. And a few years ago, we had some high school students from Lauttasaari in Helsinki in Finland, that they volunteered at the Slush event in Shanghai. And then I started thinking about my own time in high school. I would never had thought about that, hey, I'm going to go to China, I'm going to be a volunteer at this startup event in Shanghai. So I think that we have come a long way, and I totally expect, all of you to do the same and go, to many places, and while you're in high school or after high school, before high school. But I think that this is a beautiful example of the fact that the world is much smaller, it's much more international than when I was in high school. Then it was already okay going for an exchange year in the US was kind of like a big deal. But now we have young people volunteering and going to do startup events in Shanghai. So it's a good start, but I really encourage all of you to do even more of that. So again, fantastic to have all of you here, and let's go out there and see the world and experience it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. And if you just join us on Instagram or Facebook, welcome. We're hosting a webinar about studying abroad. We have many inspirational speakers here, and soon we're also going to have panel discussion with Joalin Loukamaa and other young people with international experience. But our next speaker, we are honored to have her here, the Ambassador of Vietnam, Her Excellence Thi Hai Tham Dang. Welcome.
Hi everyone. I'm to be invited to this event and have a special sentiment, really special. It's give me the feeling of being younger. And thank you for that. As you may know that I'm a diplomat. I have been serving in the foreign service for more than 20 years. And I have traveled to more than 45 countries in all continents of the earth. So I would like to share with you today from my perspective the three main benefits from going abroad. For me, the first benefit is the going abroad gives us the real value for our minds. I'm feeling happy, more happy when I can visit many countries and you can see many scenery sites. I still remember that when I was in Grand Canyon in US and see the 2 billion years old of the earth. So I feel that, I'm very tiny. And when I was in India, and I see that so different in the social situation between the people. I go to the central of area with a beautiful village in the jungle. But I go in the suburban. I see the poor house with only the curtain, like the door, to be used as door. So it gives you this experience, give you a lot of food for thought. Why? And you don't have to answer the why right away. It's you can answer step by step on your journey. And I would like to recommend you to go abroad as soon as early as possible. When you go abroad at the age of 20, it's totally different at the age of 40. So that is my first point. And the second part, I would like to talk with you the benefits of the going abroad that will help you to develop your career. Why? I heard from a scientist. He invented nano fertilizer, and I give him a lot of admiration word. And he said that no, I'm a normal person. I just collecting and connecting the knowledge in the world. That help you to help me to produce an innovative product. So you should go many countries and learn from them. And one day you can have an innovative idea, and it can. I imagine that it can secure the world. Yeah. So, and the third benefit, I think from the going abroad, that you have a broad network, friend network, knowledge network, and resources network. Yeah, and you have something in your mind, and you want to make it translated into the reality, into the real one. You have a network idea from friends all over the world. You will know the resources, raw material, and know the technique, how to do this step, how to do that step. All these things can assemble in one product and in one solution. And we can call that the multi-culture approach or multi-sector approach. So I think that is only, at the moment, I see only 3 benefits from the going abroad. And I think that the last one is my own experience, that I have 2 boys, and I decided that when they are at the age of the 2nd or 3rd grade, I should bring them abroad. And after my term as a diplomatic career, and I bring them back home, and they are my boys are totally different. They learn something from Norwegian. They're very disciplined, and they have a dream that going abroad again and doing many things they want to do. So that is my experience. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. It was really inspiring to hear your stories. Next, we are going to have something you have all been waiting for. At least I know in our audience and Instagram and Facebook, you are eager to see and hear our panel discussion about studying abroad. So, firstly, let me welcome the moderator of the panel, Peter, on stage.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we all of our panelists. So they are all people and students, and they have a lot of international experience. So first, welcome, Joalin Loukamaa. Great to have you here. Then our student panelist, Heini Ruohotie, welcome. Then, last but not least, our student panelist, Marie-Helene, welcome. And then we have one more panelist, Harri Suominen, welcome on stage.
You didn't say young.
Sorry, Harri.
Take the panel.
Oh yeah, maybe I
don't know. We can see all of us.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, please,
Yeah.
Peter, take over.
Yes, hey, thank you. And again, once again, fantastic to be here. And it's great to have even younger people on the panel than me and Harri, so that's always great. But yeah, I think let's just start by a short round of introduction. So who are you and why are you here?
Hello everyone, it's an honor to be here today. My name is Marie-Helene and I'm a 2nd year student here at Rellu. And I did a month-long summer exchange in Germany in 2019, and I think that's the reason I'm here.
Oh, fantastic.
Hi everyone, my name is Heini Ruohotie and I'm also very grateful to be here. I did an exchange through Asia Exchange in South Korea last semester.
Hi, I'm Joalin Loukamaa. I have lived most of my life abroad, and I think that's why I'm here.
I'm Harri, and I'm here to learn from you.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
But I think that's an important point that every day you learn new things, and I think that I always say that like day you stop learning, you're dead. So it's really like important to have that kind of attitude, and I've learned many new things today already. But hey, so you mentioned that you've been in Germany. So how was your experience, and what did you learn?
It was great. I think that one of the best things one can do is to make the world your home. So I'm very grateful for the people I met there. I think that was the best part. And of course, I became much more independent and adaptive. I guess that was a huge deal for me because I had lived in kind of a bubble, of course, here in, say, Finland and in German. Basically, no one spoke English, and I just dived into a whole new culture, and that taught me a lot.
Yeah, sehr gut. Very good. So, what about you, Korea?
Yes, so first of all, my experience was very good. And what I learned, I think the 3 most important things that I learned was I learned new things about myself. I feel like I had like a personal growth while there. Of course, the academic aspect. And also I learned like life experience, the things that I can't learn if I stay in my bubble at home all the time, because I have to push myself and do things that I wouldn't push myself to do otherwise. And in the end, I'm like, hey, I survived that.
Yeah, clearly you survived. So,
yeah,
very
I'm here.
Very good, very good. So, Joalin.
Well, I haven't gone abroad to study. I've gone abroad to live. My mom is a bit of a crazy Finnish, and when I was 3 years old, she decided to move alone with me to Spain. So I lived in Spain for 5 years. I went to school with, I think, how many different, I don't even know. There was people from like 40 something different countries. So I never really saw difference in like countries or continents or anything, because I just grew up with people being people. And I think it really, like, you learn a lot from it. And I think there's 2 different types of smart. There's book smart, and then there's like, you know, human. Smart. Yeah, exactly. Like the stuff that you can't learn from a book.
Right.
So why would you only want to learn the book smart stuff when you could learn both? When you go abroad, you will learn things that you cannot learn by staying in the same city, the same town that you grew up. And that's fine. A lot of people love that and they feel comfortable. But I say if you have the opportunity, and because today it is very easy to go abroad, not right now because of COVID, but usually, I say do it, because you will learn so much more about yourself, about other people. You become way more open to like new experiences. You might learn. One thing I wanted to learn moving to Mexico was to eat spicy. I didn't learn that, but I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't even know I could. I did, yes, exactly.
So
I learned how to dance salsa.
Win some, lose some. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that actually I have to kind of like really highlight that, because I think that that's a great example, and also knowing that you're about to get your driver's license. So congratulations. But the thing I always use this example that of course probably you can learn how to drive a car by reading a book, but I think most people would agree that the best way to learn that is to drive the car. So you know, like it's the same kind of thing with you know, like of course you can read about, you know, different countries and different people and all of that, and you can read many books. But that is exactly the point about like book smart and street smart and like all of that you actually know. And I don't think there's any substitute for that. We can read all about like spicy Mexican food, but probably you'll learn more about it by eating it. Yes. And I think that this is exactly with like the international like experience. So Harry, what do you think about that?
Well, I would say that I have had the privilege to help now close to 10,000 students to go to study abroad during these past 10 years in the industry. And I have never heard anybody say that I regret that I didn't go. And
Right.
Usually I hear like, I didn't even imagine that how great that this could be. Like, besides having the best time of my life, they have had like life-changing thoughts. They are finding a new path for the life. They know better what they want to achieve also in the future, and they start to appreciate also more than how the things are in home country.
Yes.
I don't know, you have lived more than half of your life in like Latin America, Spain, and now you're back in Finland. So
no, yeah, it's like to me, it's crazy because coming back here, I see like all the good things here and how crazy good it is to live in Finland. And I feel like if I always grew up here, I would consider it normal. But for me, it's like luxury that, you know, everything is so good here. So yeah, of course, you learn how to appreciate your home country once you get out and come back.
So now you don't want to leave at all?
I do actually. Fun thing
snowing
about
outside.
Yes, maybe a little cold. But crazy thing about this, about leaving, it's so funny to me because now that we moved here, everyone's like, "Oh, so are you here permanently?" And I don't know what to say to that because like permanently living somewhere has never been a thing for me. I always want to keep moving. If I live in a house more than a year, I need to change the furniture every 3 months. So I feel like I'm in a new place. I just want to like constantly keep going to new places, keep moving, keep learning, keep meeting new people. So yeah, I'm not sure where I'm gonna be next year, next month, but I for sure know that somewhere new and like keep learning.
Maybe you are going to be now united.
Maybe. Yes.
So are you thinking about going back to Korea?
Sorry?
Are you thinking about going back to Korea?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think then, like if we, as Joalin said, I think that it's, and that's my experience as well, that you really appreciate kind of like what you have back home when you see kind of like other things, but also I think that it works the other way around, that then, hey, why can't you do this like we do in Korea or we do in Germany or Mexico or something like that? So what was kind of like any particular experiences then that, you know, in Korea that you would like to see here in Finland or the other way around?
I can't like pinpoint any specific experience, but I have heard that people have said that every person should visit, for example, South Korea or Japan, you know, those countries where there's a lot of people, but things work so efficiently.
True, yeah.
So I definitely think that's true. Like, maybe the president of Finland should go there and see what it's like. But also, when I came back from Korea and like, you know, life there was so hectic. So coming back to Finland, I was scared it would be really dull and boring. But what it was really like was I was like, oh my God, this is actually really relaxing. Like I have learned to appreciate the quietness of my home country more after being in a very, very hectic country.
Yeah, and I think that that's actually a very good point because I think that many times people use as an excuse that, oh, but there's so few of you, so of course you can, you know, like have the best educational system on the planet, like in Finland and all of that, because, you know, only 5 million, but you have to think about, hey, we're 350 million and it's like difficult. But I always use myself also like Japan and Korea in particular, because a lot of people, and you take Tokyo, biggest like metropolitan area anywhere in the world, and things just work. Then you go to, let's say, Moscow or you go to Beijing, doesn't quite work. And then, you know, many times here, but yeah, you have to understand so many people that it can't work, like Mexico City, you know, and take like traffic and it doesn't work. But I think that that's again another reason why it's good to go and see that, hey, actually, maybe there is a way. Why don't you do like the Koreans do in this example? And I think then that brings us to Germany. So what's your experience in Germany, and what kind of things would you like to bring here or the other way around?
I think that I'd love to bring the warmth of people here, because we in Finland...
So warm German people? But isn't it like the stereotypical German person is not so warm?
No, I had a different experience, I guess. But
no, but I just also wanted to make the point that that's what you think before you go.
That's
true.
It's
like these German people, that they are not very warm and all of that. And I think that this is, again, you have to go there. You can't.
To see it, and to experience it. But like we have here all this personal space thing, and we tend to be so reserved, like when we meet new people. But in German, people were like so open because they haven't like basically heard of Finland. So I'd love to bring that mindset to Finland, of course. Also like to people to be open and like love to hear new stories. I love it.
Yeah, so maybe just a quick round, like what do you think then your advice to, you know, all the people here and young people think about, okay, should I not, you know, and when and why?
You should, like any time, because I recognize my privilege to have been seeing the world as much as I have. And for everyone, those aren't like opportunities, it's like more of distant dreams. So if you have the chance, you should take it, because you will never regret like being brave. It's always, it's scary, of course, but you will never regret being brave.
I feel like you'll regret not being brave more than
exactly.
being brave. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the saying is that you will regret the things you didn't do,
Exactly.
not so much the things that you did.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would your advice be?
I would also say that definitely do go abroad if you have the chance. You will never ever regret it. You will most likely experience a personal growth like I did. You will learn something new about yourself. You meet new people, you make new contacts. It can change the mindset that you have, and what I think is the thing that I value the most now is that I understand other people. Like, I understand the way of doing things in South Korea, so it makes us less judgmental and more understanding, and that's a very, very good thing to have.
Wise words. And
Yes.
I mentioned that I have heard from our students so many good stories, life-changing stories, but I haven't forgotten my own as well. Like when I was 2003, so it was 2003, and 18 years ago. Oh my God, already! And I did go my first semester abroad as a university student. I went to Greece in Athens, and I remember we were driving from Tampere to Iyseon, where I did my university, and it was raining outside. It was October, and we were 4 guys in the car. Oh my God, let's go somewhere warm. Was it possible to go abroad from this university? And then we were, yeah, maybe let's go to the international office and ask. And then we asked, what options do we have? And then the most different kind of place, the warmest place was Greece, Athens. That's why we chose that. And we were there. I met so many other nationalities. We make lifelong friendships. But that's when I really understood that, yeah, this is life. You need to see when you still have a chance. Many people, that's the best chance to really see the world and live abroad when you are still a student. Then maybe you graduate, you get a job, you get a family. You don't have that kind of opportunities, many of us anymore. Then it was about time to graduate from my Finnish university, and then I saw by accident this advertisement about studying China, and decided to go there. I already had all of my credits, but thought that I'd do it for life experience, and I'm glad that I did, because then we established the Asian Exchange company and started to help other young people to experience the same. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys have also taken the advantage and maybe do it again if there's a chance.
So the two of you are still in high school?
I am in high school.
I'm in university.
University, okay, cool. But hey, then just a bit of perspective, because it's a while since some of us, or at least Harri and me, since we're in a high school. So what would your kind of advice or ideas for how can we make high school in Finland more international? Or is it already international enough?
It depends, I guess. For example, our school is very international thanks to the IB and European Studies program, but I moved here actually 2 years ago to go to this school, and in my local high school, I was the only one who had gone abroad at such a young age. So it's not nice that only students in the cities have the opportunities, but now it's hard to imagine what can we do, but thanks to the internet and that kind of opportunities it brings with it, I think that we should take the advantage of meeting people through Zoom and Google Meets and really try to figure that kind of things out, because at the moment it's not that easy to plan all these trips and that kind of stuff.
So how many of your classmates actually go for exchange and go abroad?
In my class, there was one girl who left this year, but normally it's in the entire class of there are 180 of us, I guess.
Okay.
There's always like few who leave for exchange. So
3,
not much.
4, 5.
Yes, 3,
Okay.
4, I guess.
So I think that we have a lot of work to
We have
make
a lot
that
of work.
a bigger number.
Yeah, and people always think that the exchange year is the only way to do it, but for me it wasn't suitable anymore as I moved here. So I think that we should like also tell, like, you have, for example, those summer school, and I went for a summer exchange. So those kind of opportunities should be raised as well.
So what do you think is then the main thing stopping people from going for like the summer school or the full year of exchange? And feel free to chime in any of you, but so why isn't it happening more if we think that we're so international?
Can I say my point of view on this? Especially talking about Finland, I feel like everyone lives in a box where this is where you want to get when you could get all the way over there.
Right.
Young people, they're like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, let me work for that, live my whole life here. That's it, that's like the only thing I can do. When you could like dream so much more. Even I feel like people here only dream small because it's like secure. You don't want to say, oh, I'm going to be the biggest pop star in the world. That's what I'm going to be. I'm telling you right now.
You almost are.
And then everyone's like,
so you all hear it now.
yeah, everyone's like, yeah, that's not realistic. Like, calm down, okay, get down. But why? The worst thing that can happen is I don't get there. And then what?
Yeah.
But why would I plan small when I know I can get there?
Sure.
Like, it's just, so I think that is what's making people stay here and stay in like that one line that everyone is going through, because people are scared to dream big because of failure.
Yeah, I have heard this somebody who knows how to dream big but also make that happen. Like, Peter, you have something. Can I interview you?
You can, but I think I was just going to tell Joalin that I might have heard that a few times that it can't be done and you're crazy and blah blah blah, and and I think that we even have these stupid sayings in Finland that I don't know how to translate, but if you can reach too high into this tree, you will hit your head in another formal tree or whatever. But anyway, it's like a stupid saying, and then it's like totally the opposite. It's this like. Joka kuuseen kurkottaa, and I know that. But anyway, I tried to translate it poorly. But the thing is that I think that it's even built into the culture that you are not supposed to aim too high because you're gonna fail.
You might fail, exactly.
And I think that then you have the opposite. That if you if you reach for the stars, or reach for the moon, you might end up with the stars. And I think that. This is very much part of our culture that we have to fight actively, because there's nothing worse than telling people that they can't do something. Yeah. Because of course you can do anything, and I always say that there are very, very few things out there, that actually are impossible. If you have to start breaking rules of nature, then that might be impossible. But besides that, you can go out there and do stuff. And I think that's so important, and it really is about the mindset. And you're great examples, like all of you here, that hey, you're here and you're still alive, and you seem to be sane and everything. So going to Korea or Germany didn't hurt you, and even Mexico was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you have brought up some very good points, and I'd like to add that people are also afraid to stand out. It's
true.
So convenient to be,
especially at this age.
Yeah, in this age, it's so scary to do something crazy, and you miss 1 year. So what happens?
Exactly.
Or one summer. So what? I'm sure that the experience is worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, and I think that's and we just need to work on that, I think, and that's why also this whole event is all about that hey, look at these guys, they went abroad, they came back, they're still okay. More than okay.
If we think about the past year and what is going on at the moment, there's the pandemic of coronavirus, obviously, and it's affecting a lot for student mobility, and it's very sad that how many students are kind of losing the chance to go abroad. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and now because of the vaccinations and everything, and still actually some countries are open and are safe and are taking care of the situation very well. So maybe could you share of the South Korea example? Did you feel the corona there, or how was the situation?
Honestly, the situation was so good that I genuinely forgot that there was a whole pandemic happening. Of course, you can see it in people wearing masks and some like big gatherings just not happening. But that's also a great example of seeing how other countries do things compared to my country. And you realize that there's no right or wrong way, but maybe you, like, for example, I thought that maybe this Korean way is more efficient. There's a lot of people, but things just work because these people, they really take the responsibility to wear their masks and everything. And yeah, like, even though there was a whole pandemic happening, that was not what slowed me down. And I'm really grateful that I took the experience and went abroad, because even like going abroad during a pandemic can be a life-changing experience, and you learn maybe different things that you would have learned if you went some other time.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like a very good point. And I think also now, the pandemic, I think that, of course, I mean, it's very real and we need to be careful and wear the masks and all of that. But at the same time, I think that it's very easy to use the pandemic just as kind of like any other excuse for not doing things. So I think that there's always a way, even in the middle of a pandemic, to do things, and you can still do exchanges. Now, yes, there are a few additional hurdles, but I think it's a good example again of the fact that it's not impossible. And I think that's something that we should also be always very careful not to let these kind of excuses get into the way. I mean, there's always a way. If you want to be the biggest pop star, then you can like go out there and like do it. And I think that's something that really always encourage like everybody to do. I think that's really, really important. But yeah.
I would like to add that there are other ways to go international than just going to, for example, South Korea.
Yeah,
like,
you can go to Japan as well.
And like, you can do so much if you just have the passion for internationality. You will find a way to go international and make international connections.
You can find people from all around the world in just Finland and get out there even without leaving the country. And I think the pandemic and the excuse. So a lot of young people are scared to miss out, as you said. You know, you don't want to leave in the summer because, it's summer, it's vacation, I want to be here with my friends. Well, there's nothing happening now, so go study. You're not going to miss out on anything because it's a pandemic and everyone's home and you can't do anything. So
yeah,
because as you said, it is possible to go to some places now. So
yeah, absolutely. So what are your plans then? High school, what are you going to do after that?
I'd love to study abroad, maybe in Germany. The country has stole my heart, but maybe even further away. And I really think that even if I went for university abroad, I would still make an exchange from there as well. So definitely abroad. Don't know where, I don't know what I want to study, but I want to meet people and dive into another new culture. So
But that's great, not knowing everything in advance.
Because it gives you more, it's more open,
But I also have to kind of like then bring up there that I think that it's perfectly okay if you don't know what you want to do. So I think that is also one thing that, as you said there, that you miss out on a year. I mean, then when you get a bit older, then you realize that, a year or two or, even more, no big deal, because, I mean, hey, you have like time to do things. So you shouldn't worry too much about that you have to do everything like now. And I think that it's something that, again, you will look back that, hey, fantastic that I took the year and I went to Germany or I went to Korea or I spent half my life in Mexico or, things like that. That is actually like fantastic. And that's, again, you shouldn't see it that, I lost a year. Probably you don't look at, I lost this summer, I went to Germany and I missed out on all of these things. So I think everybody that you asked, hey, fantastic, I should have done it earlier, I should have stayed longer, it's like amazing. But yeah.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't like the perfect fit for you, it's still an experience.
Yes.
Yeah, always. Yeah, very good. So, what about you? You're now studying in university?
Yeah, I'm studying international business in university. So that already tells a lot about me. I have always wanted to go international, even though I'm from 100% Finnish family. So after university, I would love to work in an international industry somewhere, in an international business. I want to continue networking internationally, travel the world, get new experiences, and learn about new cultures and how people live.
Yeah.
Nice.
And besides becoming the biggest pop star,
Maybe the more near future.
Yeah, right. You know.
Well, for sure, I want to move out, get my own place somewhere. I don't know, Japan, Tokyo, maybe London. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even near future, I want to go to Bali to study. Got the chance, and I didn't even think about it. I said, okay, yep, that's in the calendar. If COVID lets me go, then that's in my calendar. Maybe start studying more this year. I don't know how much I can talk about that, but yeah, for sure.
It's a free country, you can say.
Same as them. I'm not really sure. I just know I want to go and learn and keep growing.
Yeah. But that's actually a fantastic point. I mean, okay, you mentioned Bali, and that's some like a very concrete thing. But this is a little bit like, I mentioned that this, I think it's really like beautiful example that we had, high school students from Lauttasaari in Helsinki in Finland that they volunteered for like a startup event in Shanghai in China. And then I would never have thought about that, when I was in high school, because it's, even having a lot of crazy ideas, it's something that, couldn't have happened. I mean, that, and of course, wasn't impossible, but it was impossible for me to even like consider or imagine that. And I think that this is something that's great, but I think also that's why it's so important to bring up that, hey, actually, you can go to Bali and study, and that's also like anybody in Finland, any high school student can do that. There's nothing stopping you from going to Bali or going to Germany or South Korea or like wherever you want to go. Yes, we have the pandemic, but I mean, it's not going to be here forever. And I think that is, again, something that it's super important to see that, hey, actually, you can go to Bali or you can go to Tampere. It's up to you. It doesn't, and both are great. So I think that this is something that it's so important, and why this event and all of that we need to have role models, because then you can see that, hey, if Joalin can do that, anybody can, right?
Yes.
Maybe not the dancing and all that, but I think that it's and why not actually, so yeah, exactly. So I think that's something that is super important, that we shouldn't kind of like put these limits on ourselves, because I mean it's only like up to ourselves to do that. And I think of course you need to have the courage, and then I think also, I mean, of course when you're young, then you want to fit in, and it's a very human like thing that you want to conform and you want to be part of the group, and that's I think that it's just like human like to do that. But I think that there is nothing wrong with basically standing out and doing things differently. So that is also like perfectly okay, and that's something that I think we in Finland also need to encourage people to hey, it's fine, just go out there and do that, and it doesn't matter if you're like in a like a bigger high school, bigger community, but it's also like and of course it might be more difficult if you have like a smaller group and all of that, but still we need to encourage people to actually be themselves. And my advice has always been that and I think that that's probably the only and kind of the best advice that I can give is that no matter what you do, you should do what you love to do. And I think that then if you're doing something else, you're doing something that you don't love, don't do it. It's like life's too short. So I mean, that is like a total waste. So if you're afraid of like, okay, going to Germany or South Korea or Mexico or Vietnam or Uzbekistan or, like whatever you want to do, I think that, again, as long as you do what you love to do, you can't go wrong. I think that's something that is super important. And then, if you don't feel like you're doing the right thing, then don't do that, like do something else. And always you don't know kind of like what you love to do, because, hey, it's also that if you only read about it, you have to experience it. So that's also like super important.
But I think you are totally right, and that helps you to set your own values when you start to know yourself better and what you like, and that's why like going abroad is like one part of that. at least it was for me, and I guess for many students. And you also asked about the future plan, so can I answer that as well?
Yeah. Yeah. As you said, it's a free country. Okay,
but just make me to think about like what's I'd like to happen this year. But of course, everything is a little bit dependent about like how the vaccinations of pandemic go and everything. But I have my next flight booked already, which is great, and it's in March to Costa Rica.
Okay.
I've been to Latin America before. I guess you up here, but did you go to Costa Rica?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, I have heard
I
it's
will,
a great place.
Yeah, I met with the former president and he said it's like amazing. But anyway.
But that's like the newest destination that we have, and we hope that it will be a very popular one. And what we have heard from students that they are willing to go further. So not only like there's nothing wrong with going to Germany or Sweden and so on, but like I mentioned, the further you go, the more you might learn. And this country is smaller in a population than Finland.
But it's very well known here. We have lots of Costa Rica here. But anyway.
But you know, some details, like they haven't had their army in 70 years, so they have used that money for their education. That's why they are having the best literature rate in whole Latin America, and it's a good working society. 99% of the whole like energy is produced with renewable sources and stuff like that. So there's still lots to learn, and I didn't know this before we launched the destination there. So. Yeah, I need to study more as well.
Yeah, but I think it's a great example that you can learn new things every day, and that's also something that probably most people here didn't know that about Costa Rica. So it's a great example. Yeah. Good. How are we on time?
We are well in time. So does the audience have any questions?
Yeah, very good point. So anybody in the audience, anybody want to chime in? Any thoughts, questions, ideas? Yes?
What if you want to go abroad but you don't you can't afford that?
I think that...
Can you repeat the question?
So I'll repeat the question. So the question was that what if you want to go abroad but you can't afford it? So that was the question. And so as I said before, there are very few things that are impossible. So again, that's not like an impossible thing to solve. And I think that there are many ways to get support for going abroad. So there are many programs, many forms of kind of like support and assistance. So I think that it's also, and being an entrepreneur myself, so then I know that there is always a way. And, like if nothing else, you can go and collect bottles and, save money. That's what I did when I was young, and I collected like a lot of bottles. That's, but again, I mean, that's just like one example. And I think that there's a lot of ways to do that. And I think that my advice would be that look around and you will figure it out.
Should we, you paid off your exchange, so you have experience. How did you manage to do it?
So obviously I worked a summer job the summer before, so I saved money for a long time for my exchange, and I also got some fundings from what are they called, like organizations that I applied for. But one thing that I have also done is I have had international experiences in Finland, and I think that's like the first step for going abroad. Like you don't necessarily have to have like the plan to go abroad in the beginning. You can do so many international things in Finland, like volunteer for Slush, which I have done, or do international tutoring at your school or university, which I have also done. And then you can network and get like friends and opportunities, and then you can go abroad.
Very true.
And also would like to add here that of course there's different price levels in different countries, and if you go, for example, to many Latin American countries or Southeast Asian countries, you need to pay off the flights, you might need to pay off the program fee or something. But at the same time, when you are spending like a couple of months there, you end up saving money because you are consuming so much less than, for example, in Paris or London and that kind of countries.
Or Tampere.
Or even in Tampere, yeah, that's right. And need to say one thing about this Asia Exchange company. So one of the reasons we established it was to enable going abroad for as many people as possible, so that the price wouldn't be the issue. So we actually learned in China when we were a student that you can bargain of everything, even of the price of the tuition fees at universities.
Yeah.
So that's how we managed to lower the tuition fees for the students, and it's pretty affordable.
Yeah, and I think what you mentioned there, volunteering and Slush, of course, now with the pandemic, it's a bit different situation. But I think that's also something that I really encourage you to do, because at Slush, there's like 20,000 people coming there from, I think, 160 countries or some crazy number like that. But anyway, there's 2,000, year before last when we had Slush in Helsinki, there were some like 2,600 young people volunteering as Slush from more than 60 countries. So that is like super international, and exactly as you said, I think that is a very good way that you will find friends from Costa Rica or Germany or Mexico or like wherever, and I think that is also like a great way to then build on that, and then find some connections in particular country and just go for a visit. And I think then also there's a lot of you can go and study, but you can also go and study and work. So there are many of these like study and work programs. There are many places around the world where they would love to have like a Finnish student there helping. It could be like a Finnish company in Vietnam. We actually in the morning we met with Niemen Tehtaat, Panu, who is the CEO there. They've been in Vietnam since 2006 when we were actually talking about how we could facilitate Vietnamese students coming here studying and then working at their company, or we could have Finnish students going and working at the company there in Vietnam. So I think that there are, maybe not unlimited, but almost like unlimited number of different ways that you can get abroad. So I think that there I would just answer the question and just encourage you to be entrepreneurial. So look around and talk to people, and then before you know it, you'll find yourself in Angola or something.
And maybe talk to your parents. So let's say if you are spending a gap year and you say, hey, I want to go back into Bangkok and all around Southeast Asia. Maybe they support you, but if you say, hey, I would like to spend my gap year by studying, so it might be that they sponsor you even a bit more. It's only natural.
But I think that this is actually a super important question, and that is also a little bit that we should be very concerned actually in Finland if we think that we are kind of like in an international environment and all of that. I don't know the statistics, but I would guess that it's like your experience that, if you have like, let's say, 100 people in the class, maybe, 3, 4 or 5 go, and then that means that, that's like a very small fraction of the total like student population. And I really think that if you look at like the big picture, and if we think about Finland or actually think about any country in the world, I think it's, as we discussed here, it's very beneficial to have that exposure. It's good for society that you don't end up with this kind of like, those people, from say Mexico, and we don't have some experience of that they, like they come here and they sell drugs and they are in gangs and they're like bad people and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there's some good ones as well. And we've heard these kind of statements. And then it's like, like you can't do that. And I mean, if I really think that if you have, like the China example that I used, that, I have many Japanese friends and they're nice people. Of course they are. And I think that this is something that we really should think about, that we should make it possible for more people to have that international experience. So we should actually be very concerned that there's not more of it. And I think that that's something that we should all think about. So don't have a better answer to the question, but it was very, very good question. So thank you for that. So more questions. So here I always have to say that, remember that there are no stupid questions, only stupid people. That's a joke. So, it's okay to ask. Yeah.
I can ask one.
Yeah.
So how could we help those people and those students, like you said, you come from a smaller place, like, and there's small high schools, and there are people who want to go abroad, but they don't have enough encourage or other ways. They don't know how to find the right ways to go abroad. So what's the solution for that? I think that then it's not only to go to Google and somehow, but you need your friends where you live and your community, and they help you to find the right ways. But what about the smaller places?
Yeah. So one thing that I really believe in everything is role models. So I think that we have fantastic role models here, and then when you see that, hey, she went to Germany, and hey, you went to Korea, Mexico, and China, and like everything. So I think that, and this is not only for like then the going abroad, but this also like when we started Slush, we didn't start Slush to create like a fantastic event. We actually started that to change the mindset. We wanted to show that, hey, it's okay to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody has to go and work for a big company or the government. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can also do other things. And I think that this is something I believe that when you have the examples and like hearing from you, hopefully many of you who are now watching this like here or somewhere online, that okay, if those guys can do it, so can I. And I think that's something that we should then think about. How can we get that message out and get the role models like out there? So maybe you go back to your high school and share your experience and all of that. So that could be one thing that I really think that it's kind of like seeing is believing. But then how can we facilitate that? And we should actually collect these ideas. And I actually what do you think? What would you do to get your friends to go to Germany or to Korea or wherever it might be?
That's exactly what I would do. I would encourage them to try it as well. I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add. If you have any ideas.
I think social media plays a big part in that nowadays, because
so if you could do a few posts on Instagram.
I don't know anyone my age that does not use social media all day long. True. So I think even small places, kids nowadays, they see everything on social media. So I think, that is one of the biggest ways how we can help. If you have any influence on social media, like I do, just try to, get the message out there. You find someone that's like, maybe they want to do something, they're not sure about it, encourage them. Because I feel like, this is what I want to say before too, I feel like a lot of people dream, and then when they go to school and high school and all that, they come out and all their dreams are like, because at this age is when we most judge each other and everything, and we let other people's opinions get into our heads. So I think if you're in school or high school or have friends that maybe have dreams and you hear people telling them it's not possible, just encourage them, or maybe listen to them. Maybe you'll get inspired by them. Maybe they will become the next president of the country, and you will regret your life because you told them that they're not going to become it, and now you're I don't know. Don't bring anyone down, and don't let other people bring you down. And
I think we have made this service for the students that how did you decide to go abroad? How did you hear about that? And usually it's because it's not the same thing of deciding that I will go abroad for half a year and pay some money of that. And so then if you are just buying a t-shirt online, it's easy decision to buy the t-shirt, but that's like a bigger investment. So you usually need more convincing. You are maybe getting the spark by saying, Joalin online in your Instagram that, hey, I'm going to Bali for next summer for summer school. Would you like to join me? I don't know if you're planning to do it, but maybe. But then maybe somebody applies because of that. But most likely that's just a spark for people to start to think about it. Then they talk with somebody like you who have been abroad and say, hey, how was it? Studying abroad. How was it then? Then you go Googling, then you start to read student blogs and watch YouTube videos about it. Then you are like, I can't afford to not to go there. I really want to do it. So it's like multi-channel idea.
Yes. Excuse me, can I have a comment here?
Yes, of course.
I work at a school, and I think that answering your question about what could we do to encourage the students, I think that our school has had a lot of programs where the students have gone as an exchange week abroad. And I think those have been really good because they have had a lot of good experiences. It has sort of broken the ice about going
It's not as
abroad.
scary.
So that's kind of things are important. I think that's something that if the government could support the schools to do that, then we could have those students who don't necessarily have the money to go otherwise abroad. Then they would have that opportunity, and then they might have the incentive to do that later on and collect the bottles or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that the role of the schools is really important there.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Very good point.
Is there the last question that before we wrap up?
Yeah.
How do we get the boys to go as well? I mean, I also work at school, and I know that most of the guys who go abroad are girls. What about the boys? How do we fix that? They also need to go.
Well,
but
if I would know this, if I would be your age, you know, and I know you are going there, and I'm a guy, why not going there as well?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I mean, if where the girls go. Based on my experience, the boys will go as well. So I think that there might be something there. But I think that that's actually a good question. But also there, I think role models again, probably like a very good idea. And now thinking of this again, of course, we should have had a few boys on the panel as well. So you know, like. Our mistake, but at least but we're like younger ones. So I think that's. But anyway, I think role models again super important, and I also I think that this having these weeks that you go the whole class, the whole group. I think that's a very good point, and actually. If I look at many of the schools, and we have, and this has been something that's been done with China in particular quite a bit. So we have these sister city relationships, and there's then also these like sister school like relationships, and I think that is something that could also be like a very interesting because of course we want to have it both ways. That then like. You go to Shanghai or like Tampere has Guangzhou as kind of like sister city, and then you go there, and then maybe there's a group coming from there, or then same thing. You had the Vietnamese ambassador, so maybe somebody from Saigon school comes here, and then school class from here goes to Saigon or whatever might be, or Germany or Korea or all that. So I think that could be something also that could be more systematic, and if we then look at the national curriculum for like the high schools and the schools in Finland. So a big component is that it should be international, and there should be international experience. But then does it really translate into concrete action is a good question. And I think that that's also something that we should all be thinking about how we can make that, and I'm sure that we can deliver now the greetings to the parliament and all of that, and why not get a few young people to talk to the education, what do you call it, delegation, or like anyway. So I think that could be like a good thing to do. So having more young people coming to share their ideas in Parliament is always like to be encouraged. So and in Finland that's very easy to do. So I think that we should do more of that.
And now, should we ask Ida? Actually, you can also share like a half a minute story of your background. You did a 1 year in Costa Rica, so it would be great to hear a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, well, I did my exchange during high school in Costa Rica. And that was absolutely wonderful, and I can agree with all of you that it is really a life-changing experience, and if you have the chance, take it.
So how did you end up in Costa Rica? Like why?
Why? Well, I wanted to go as far as possible.
Okay. Good.
And then I wanted to learn Spanish.
Okay, yeah, very good.
And then I started to look into different Spanish-speaking countries and realized that, wow, Costa Rica is really amazing country. I want to go there.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
But can I say thank you for our panel for today?
Thank you.
Absolutely great. It is so inspiring to hear you talking. I'm really inspired at the moment, and I'm sure I'm going to abroad also, maybe in the near future. But now, the last thing of this webinar today, what have been all waiting for, the giveaway of 1 free semester abroad worth 2,000 euros. So I hope all of you have been active and you have registered through our website. I think Harry will take over here for the giveaway. We have who is the lucky person deciding the number?
1, 2, 3, 6, 8.
All right.
So is it that Joalin who will pick up the who is announcing the winner? That was the number 369.
No.
No?
From 1 to 368.
Oh, okay. Now I
number
understood.
between those.
So would Peter like to name a number between 1 to 368? What's your lucky number?
Yeah, well, sure, I can pick a number. What would be like a good one?
Something red.
I would actually pick 520, and there's a story to that, but I can't do that for this. So maybe I pick 52.
52.
All right.
So
number 52.
Okay, so we are seeing who is the number 52 in the registration, and then
That's a good number.
It's very good.
But I will actually
but
share.
It's not your age.
Let's say that it might be, but 52 I picked because I couldn't pick 520, and there is actually a story with the 520 because. And if we have a few minutes, I'll share that because it's also like in part of this like understanding like different cultures and everything. So when we did the Angry Birds movie, the premiere for the movie was the 20th of May, so 520 if you look at it that way. And I had dinner with Mr. Ga Xiaoshun. He's a like celebrity big artist in China. But then we announced to him or I had dinner with him in Beijing, and then I said that, hey, the premiere of the Angry Birds movie, it's going to be on the 20th of May. And he lives in Beijing and in LA. And then he said, Peter, why did you pick 20th of May? That, like it's still like cold, you should have picked Children's Day in China, it's like beginning of June. And like all the big movies in the US, they come for summer, they don't come in like May. Why did you pick like that? And then I looked him in the eye and said that, God, it's 520. And it's like, then he started laughing. It's fantastic. And then, of course, none of you are like, what is going on? 520, like, what's the big deal? In China, 520 sounds like "wo ai ni," I love you. So it's the kind of unofficial Valentine's Day. So it's like fantastic day, and then the movie became #1 in China and a few countries and blah blah blah. But anyway, so and always when I share this with my Chinese friends, and especially Chinese who have grown up in US, then they look at me and they don't understand. Then I always ask them that, hey, are you even like Chinese? But anyway, so I always enjoy sharing it because of that. So it's just an example of you can't know that unless you have actually spent a lot of time in China with Chinese people. There's no way you could know the meaning of 520. But yeah, anyway. So that's why 52. Not because of my age, but anyway. To be clear, but anyway. Yeah.
All right, thank you for the lucky number. We have the winner here. Are you ready to hear who is going to win the semester abroad worth 2,000 euros?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I hope the winner is there somewhere on Instagram or Facebook. If not, it's okay. We are going to find you. So the winner is Mats Uotila.
I guess Mats is from Finland because of the last name Uotila at least, but do we know from where?
Here, our school.
Really?
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Whole school. Excellent.
Fantastic.
That's cool. It's probably going to inspire a lot of people in the school.
And a boy.
It's a boy.
Fantastic.
All right, now it's time to wrap up the webinar. Do we have any last words from the panel?
I just want to thank all of you for being here.
Thank
Very
you for
inspiring.
having us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. It has been great to have you all here. And I would like to finish this webinar with the words I actually heard from Harri. He said, every pandemic in the world history has ended at some point. And so will this one. And we will all who are now inspired to go abroad, we will have the opportunity, I'm sure. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.